Nice. We are streaming now, guys. What's up? Hey, get ready for an interesting drama. Interesting. What was that?
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is Wednesday, February, March 11th, 2020, live in the 9 a.m. hour right after Jesse Lee Peterson's show. Thank you, Jesse. I'm using his studio. And I'm on my channels. That's cool. On YouTube, DLive, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, and, of course, Mixer. And what you just witnessed, what you just heard if you're listening to the audio podcast, was a clip of supposed, what are they, Syrian refugees or something, or migrants or something, wanting to go from, they've been holed up in Turkey, right, forever. I don't know how long, but Turkey agreed to hold them back in 2016, and now it's 2020 now. And Turkey's tired of holding them, so he's releasing them and allegedly doing all kinds of shenanigans to let them into Greece and Europe. Well, Turkey put out a propaganda video, but what you just witnessed was anti-Turkey propaganda, really anti-migrant propaganda. And I don't know which one is the truth or if either of them are true. It's interesting. Shout out to Dawning Armor, faithful viewer of the Hake Report on YouTube and anywhere else that he may pop up. Maybe he goes on DLive sometimes. But, Elfin. I'm going to read a comment from Elfin, which is funny, but hold on. Dawning Armor sent me this clip, and the clip of this clip was titled, it was on YouTube, "Migrants hold their children over smoking fires in order to make them cry for the cameras." And if you were listening, you heard the woman like having a fit and just being emotional. And I don't know who falls for this type of drama, but I don't know what to make of it, really. But I definitely don't sympathize with them necessarily. A little bit, right? Nobody wants to be in that situation, but doesn't make me want to let them into Greece, definitely. And it doesn't make me side either way. I guess that's part of being somewhat logical, somewhat of a man, halfway. So, but watch this. I have that very same clip in the form of Turkish propaganda. And the title of this Turkish propaganda is, so this one was, what you just witnessed or heard, was them making the migrants look bad. They're holding their children over fires to make them cry for the cameras. And isn't it interesting? There are professional cameras over there. And they're pretending, they're performing for the cameras, definitely. They know the power of propaganda. And definitely the media does, too. Most of the media is liberals. I will have you know. Something like only 10% of journalists are registered Republicans. 10%. So the media, the government, a bunch of liberals. Watch this clip. Greek forces fire tear gas at refugees and migrants, and you don't witness that either. So watch this, and this has some subtitle things. Same clip though, basically. Watch. men are carrying the kids away. So I don't know how to interpret that. That just, who brought those kids there? And who is storming the border? Who is throwing rocks at the police, allegedly? I'm hearing reports of crime happening in these migrant camps. Who is bringing the trouble upon themselves? The migrants. Who is bringing those children into that situation, dangerous situation? The so-called migrants, so-called refugees. Who is firing the tear gas? I guess the Greeks. But Turkey and Greece are having basically a propaganda war. Because Greece doesn't want to let the migrants in, and Turkey's tired of holding them. Nobody wants these migrants, these refugees. And I guess it's because of a... I guess it's because of a war in Syria in which the Turkish people are fighting or something going on. And I know that Syria and Russia are kind of involved. What a mess. It's not really my concern, but it is interesting how all these migrants end up pushing into the white countries and turn them non-white. And the whites are not making the babies. Somebody wanted to talk about, actually I think it might have been Dawning Armor, who calls my show sometimes. Real name, I shall not name, out of respect. But he wanted to talk about white genocide. And this is part of it, I guess you could call it white genocide, where they're bringing in all these people that are making a lot more babies than the whites. And it's the whites' fault for not having the babies in the first place, and for allowing a government to rule over us that is corrupt, and for being corrupt ourselves. So what a mess. So somebody asked, James, when did you split off from JLP? As in the Hake stream splitting off from JLP? Just a couple of weeks ago. I think February 21st, my interview with the Boer, with Jason Bartlett, I think was my last, which was a Friday, the February 21st, I think, was my last day of streaming on Jesse Lee Peterson's channel. That following Monday, that Sunday, of course, I stream on my channel. Every Sunday I'm on my channels. But that following Monday, and since then, I've been on my own channels. Cool, huh? Let's see. Lucas Reese gave a super chat and said, for $2, can you say good as I say, how are you? For $2? Yes, I can say it. I can break the rules, I think. If you say, how are you? I'll say good. Elfin says, Hake, who would win in a race war, Joel or Nick? Good question. A race war. Who would win in a race war, Joel or Nick? As in a racial war.
I was like, I'll beat Nick in a race.
Giovanni A, faithfully here. Thank you, Giovanni A. Right on, man. So, oh, man. But they're doing this, you know, the media is constantly doing this propaganda stuff. And I noticed that women are susceptible. It is Women's History Month. And not that any of you know about that, nor I, but, you know, we're in the media, and the media likes to talk about Women's History Month because nobody else, normal people don't. The media and the academia like to talk about it, and maybe the government like to talk about it. Nobody else normal talks about Women's History Month. Joel says he's outnumbered and out crazied. I don't know. Nick says he's out crazied. These Mexicans be violent. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm surprised at how much more violent the blacks are than the Mexicans. But anyways, yeah, they do have, people are on a mission to have, never mind, I don't even want to go there. But yes, tank tops are available. I think Bond tank tops, as well as the Hake Report tank tops, are available via the Teespring stores. So this, I'm wearing a t-shirt that says rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. And that is what needs to happen. And then the men will stand up. They'll be quite functional as opposed to dysfunctional. And then I will get to calls. Appreciate you guys holding on. And then they'll have the sense not to get suckered by propaganda, have a false notion of love and all that stuff. Mess. And then both politically and spiritually and so-called emotionally and whatever else, families wise, everything will improve. That's a great solution. So this T-shirt is available on the Bond rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores. That's the Bond website. Rebuildingtheman.com. That's Jesse Lee Peterson's nonprofit. Wow, cool, huh? Has some funny shadows cast. Cool, huh? Thank you. Hate got chest. By the way, I will open the treasure chest. I think I heard Joel laugh, but maybe not. I will open the treasure chest, Obama chest, on D Live in about 45 minutes. Okay? At 5 minutes till the top of the 10 o'clock hour. But, my point I started to bring up is Women's History Month, and women are suckered more by emotions than men. And you see with this thing about the coronavirus, women are way more concerned about it than men. And in some cases, men are just more risk takers. They do die earlier. But at the same time, women are just scared more easily, and they have this false compassion for the children and crying women and stuff, migrants, than men do, I think. No, I know. And then they fall for these false solutions to the societal so-called problems, like we're having too much teen pregnancy. Let's give out condoms. Because they're going to do it anyways. Not stop having sex out of wedlock. You'll notice people thought that it was a lost battle. Having the sex out of wedlock stuff. They're going to do it anyways. Or the pot. People being on pot. Or people being on alcohol. But when Jesse Lee Peterson and others encourage this stuff, there's a whole lot of people encouraging get away from pornography, and people are doing it. People are getting away from that stuff. It's not this liberal thing of, oh, they're going to do it anyway. Let's make it safer for them to do it. Let's let them live wronger, meaning giving them medicine to treat the symptoms rather than treating the root problem. That's how men think is, no, don't do the wrong thing in the first place. But the women fall for this stuff. Oh, we can give out, and yeah, males do it too. I remember watching a 90s show of Jesse Lee Peterson talking about how this black pastor had condoms passed out at his church. And that was in the 90s, dealing with the so-called teen pregnancy problem. Teen pregnancy is not the problem, it's a symptom. So you're just treating the symptoms and not treating the problem. That's woman thinking. I mean, female, liberal-minded Satan thinking, really. Right? Like the serpent said, oh, you want knowledge? Eat this fruit. So, you want to be like God? Eat this fruit of knowledge. Whatever. And so I look at this coronavirus thing. The women are more concerned about it than the men. The men are like sane. Some of them are shrugging it off when they shouldn't. Some of them are panicking when they shouldn't. You have to be serious. I like how I've read this, and I think I've mentioned this multiple times. President Trump, he is a stickler for, he is what Bill O'Reilly describes as a germaphobe. Like, if you sneezed inside the room, it just gives you a dirty look. That's so funny to me. But it's like, it shows you that he's aware, he's careful, he's paying attention, and he's concerned about the health of himself and people around him so that he doesn't get sick. Because nothing messes up your productivity like getting sick. So right on. So people fall for this mess about bringing in these migrants, refugees, and all that stuff. and they're bringing in the illegal aliens disease. What a mess. By the way, it's March 11th. Somebody said 311, and Joel said on Jesse Lee Peterson's stream, it made me laugh because I was like, 311, great. Oh, tomorrow's 311. 311, great band, right? Or no? And Joel said 311. That's all right. It's not a rap group, right? It's not a rap group. It's more like I don't remember. Let me get to Social Pariah, and then I'll get to Weinstein and other news and speculation and mess. I may touch on this Alex Jones thing, too. I want to know if you're judging Alex Jones. Are you judging Alex Jones? It was reported, I saw it on Twitter, that he was driving under the influence. And they said that, I don't know what they said, but I want to know if you're judging him, if you're surprised by it, what you're thinking. Social Pariah out of Denver, Colorado. Social Pariah, how are you?
How's it going, Hake?
Hey, going well.
Hey, I kind of had like something I want to discuss.
Go for it.
You know, there's more trades jobs coming available now that Trump has, you know, the steps he's taken, you know, getting rid of onerous taxes and health regulations and all of that were really unnecessary to begin with.
Yep, I totally believe that.
But like, you know, the millennial age, you know, they took shop out of class. Most, you know, the cars now, not a lot of people work on their own cars.
Yeah.
Millennials kind of lost that mechanical skill set, I believe, you know, for, you know, computers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the jobs, you know, I talked to people in different trades. You know, I talked to a guy the other day. He was like a Caterpillar mechanic. And he goes, yeah, you know, everybody, they go to school, they know the basics, but they really don't have the background. You know, whenever you get in a job, they kind of teach you everything you need to know anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've heard it by a bunch of people that the millennials, they get in the jobs, they can't really do them because they don't have a mechanical background.
I know.
And I was just wondering, you know, what you thought, you know, instead of like putting money into like government grants for colleges and stuff where people go in and then they get a useless degree and usually at inflated prices because universities, you know, they think that they're more valuable.
Right.
If they could subsidize like the pay of millennial, you know, people that want to get into trade, that they could subsidize it, you know, through tariffs and stuff, and they could use that to kind of like subsidize the pay until they really get on their feet, millennial, on these jobs and stuff.
You know, I would be for
so?
bringing back pushing trades again, because I remembered it happening. I remember I took shop class, but it was only a half a year. It was only like a semester in 8th grade. And then I noticed that it didn't really stick with me. And for two, it seems like pretty quickly that was out the door. It was out the window. They got rid of it. And I remember at my high school, they had like cars inside of little shop things where they were working on cars at one point, and then like that got shuttered. And in the Pasadena City College, I think that they had auto stuff, whatever it's called, auto mechanic stuff at Pasadena City College, which is a community college subsidized by California, I think. And man, I remember it used to be like $12 a unit or something like that. Cheap. Pretty cheap, or $12. I don't know. It was cheap. A unit being like a credit for a class. So yeah, they were teaching it, and now they got rid of it, and now you're right. The millennials don't have skills. By the way, their parents kind of let them down too, because they didn't force them to learn stuff and do stuff for themselves either.
Yeah, they really, you know, if I could go back, you know, I'm 51.
Okay.
If I could go back, if I could start, you know, from out of high school right now, what I would suggest is, you take like the basics, 2-year, or not even 2-year, like a 1-year degree in whatever, like HVAC, whatever you want to do, and then go out and work and learn everything. Like if they have offer like training, anything like that, learn everything about that kind of skill set.
Nice.
And then, once you've done that for about 3 or 4 years, hang out a shingle, get your business license, maybe take some business courses, and then start your own business, because I see that, as it has sustainability. One thing's going to always stay constant, supply and demand. If there's never going to be a time whenever the trades aren't going to be, needed. You can't
Right.
really, you can't really automate the trades. You can't,
Yeah.
with software programming and stuff, that changes all the time. I can't even imagine having a job where it never ceases to, you always got to retrain on,
True.
and it gets outsourced, and you see these people that, they dedicated their life to that, and then all of a sudden the job, gets they come up with another system. It's,
Right. Yeah.
that's
Man,
just my suggestion.
yeah, it's good advice. I watched a YouTube video by Sam Hyde from December of late last year, and he was giving, it was like a 10-minute video. He gave his best advice for the people, and he said, yeah, it's good to be so-called red-pilled and be aware of politics and aware of the lies and all that stuff, and aware of the truth of what's going on in the world. But the best thing is to be skilled, especially as a man. And then you're useful. You're not useless. You bring value, and you can always make money, and you can function in the world and take care of yourself and a family, a wife and kids if you have one. And that is so true.
Got legs. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I won't take up too much of your time.
I
just
appreciate
wanted
it.
to see.
Thank you, Social Pride. It's good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'll
man.
talk to you later.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people arguing on the chat about Alex Jones. I'm just wondering if people are judging him now, see him differently or anything, or if I say, just get through it, Alex. Do the silent prayer. Silent prayer.video. Nice. Do your community labor or jail time or whatever, or get off if you're not guilty. Keep it up with InfoWars. You got good help over there. Owen Schroyer and the rest. By the way, have you guys caught Jesse Lee Peterson's recent interview with Owen Schroyer? He's interviewed like once a month or so. Seems like maybe the third Wednesday of the month or something like that. I don't know. But he was interviewed last week. Mind your kids and never mind your ex-wife. I've heard stuff that she's being real messy, as ex-wives commonly are amid a divorce. They say nasty things. So is anybody judging him? With all the Gen X and the boomers and millennials and the Gen Zs who are on pot, on alcohol, pornography, sex out of wedlock, anger, fear, being poor, playing video games. It's just another thing that you got to overcome. So that's my take. But if you guys have anything to say about it, you're welcome to. I don't even know what the story is. What actually happened. I don't even know if he's actually even guilty of this thing. So, a DUI, for those who don't know, is driving under the influence, usually like of alcohol. But nowadays it's also of pot. But I don't think he was beyond pot. He's too productive. Christopher, out of Inland Empire, California. It's good to hear from you, Christopher.
Always a pleasure, James. Hake, how you doing, sir?
Doing fine. How are you?
Not too bad. Glad you played the clip. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing
I'm glad that it was worthy of the Hake Report.
Yeah,
I know
it's definitely propaganda, regardless. It's definitely seeing crying women and children suffering. Whose fault is that? It's the migrants' fault. It's the migrants' own fault. So anyways. But
Oh, yeah. I understand for journalistic integrity, you have to be wary of saying for certain what it is. But
yeah,
I don't think if children are tear gassed, the solution is to hold them over smoking fire. So they're definitely
right.
they're definitely using those kids. Yeah, that's awful. But
Yeah.
just to address what I asked you earlier in the chat,
Yes.
do you think that white genocide is a thing? Do you think it's going on?
Definitely. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't use that term white genocide frequently, but I don't see it as an inaccurate statement because that is what's happening. Whites are being phased out of their own countries, and part of it's their own doing because society has been subverted and corrupted to where from childhood, multiple generations now, people are encouraged to embrace degeneracy and they're kept just comfortable enough to just kill themselves off and not reproduce and all that stuff. And then there's also this immigration that's put on people and both legal and illegal. And so it's without question, it's, according to the definition of some dumb international group that's liberal, when a group is phased out of its own land, that's considered a genocide. And so, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
And it's true. I'm not fine with it happening, but it's reality. Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly do think that the hedonistic culture that we find ourselves in is it's partially to blame for it.
Yeah.
Also, I agree with you that white people are losing our homelands. We're losing our habitat, if you will.
Yeah.
And it seemed to me that white people, for hundreds of years in the Americas, for thousands of years in Europe, they had no problem making white babies, as Jesse Lee Peterson always says, right?
Yeah. True.
We seem to multiply just fine, but it's only within the past 70, 80 years where our populations have drastically started to dwindle.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a particular group of people that are quite powerful when it comes to our politics?
Yeah.
I won't name them, but do you think that this replacement, let's call it a replacement,
Yeah.
do you think that it was purposely put on? Or do you just think that it was this is an unintentional side effect of enriching us with diversity?
That's a good question. I think that there are people who are that smart, evil, cunning, that they knew that this was happening, that this would happen. And then, of course, there's a bunch of useful idiots who are like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Who could have predicted this?" I'm being sarcastic, but I think that there are people who are that useful of idiots to not realize that this is just, it's just naturally happening. It's just the way that the world works. And then there's a bunch of people that are so resentful of whites for no reason that they say, "Oh, whites are deserving what they get. The shoe's on the other foot now." When whites were nothing like this to the coloreds. I don't believe. I guess there might have been a little injustice, but it's irrelevant.
Yeah, there were some bad things, but I mean, we weren't being hunted like that Nation of Islam guy that was hunting white people.
Right.
Maybe somewhere along the line, blacks were treated poorly, and that's wrong. And maybe some were wrongfully accused of a crime, and for that they were punished. But that's not the same as hunting people down and just brutally murdering them wherever you can.
Yeah.
That's something completely different. And I think that has something to... Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I just have to jump in with what we just talked about, where there's the hunting stuff, but there's also the evil of the temptations and the fake niceness from the liberals and the Jewish people that are liberals that are in power, and all the others in power that are pushing this stuff. There's just this phony. It's like a female-minded liberalism that's pure evil. That's every bit as evil as the guy that's hunting, that's doing the outright violent crime.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. And you said Jewish. I didn't.
I know you didn't.
Just for the record.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jews, definitely.
Yeah.
So another thing why I believe that we are, and the feminine mindset thing, I think it's more sinister than that. I think that there's a narrative being portrayed here that whites are guilty for everything and, given credit for nothing. And this false history is being shoved down our throat. It's shoved down our throats since grade school. They start teaching all this stuff. White people first came here and killed all the Indians, and then the KKK, and then the Nazis, and evil white. But that's basically white history. That's how it's taught. At least
Right.
that was taught.
I know.
Through school.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Another.
But that female mindset is evil. It is sinister.
Could you explain the female mindset? I'm not sure if I understand.
Well, when I say it, I mentioned the soft niceness, and that is evil. But it's also cunning. Like Jesse Lee Peterson describes what women do to their kids, and sometimes it's to get back at the man or whatever.
Absolutely.
Or whatever, and that is evil. Like they'll what they're doing is siding with the generally innocent people, the whites, siding against the generally innocent people in favor of the criminals, which is the illegals, the blacks, all that stuff. It's siding with against your own family in favor of strangers. And it is on purpose in some instances.
Yes. Oh, it's definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
And women are more susceptible to that thing. They tend to be more altruistic, more sympathetic than men, and especially white. I think the biggest thing that confuses me, the biggest problem that I have with white people, my people, your people, is we're overly altruistic. We're altruistic. We will give our own lives to save the lives of different people. Nobody else does that.
I think that's the people-pleasing spirit. I don't think that we used to be as weak as this.
Yeah, but
we being the whites who lived before us.
Yeah, our ancestors, the Vikings. Tell Joel I said the Vikings.
On YouTube, Blue Bro is asking, why should I care that whites are becoming a minority? Blue Bro is a user.
I don't know who he is or what ethnicity he is, but maybe he shouldn't care. This is a white man problem, and I think that white people should deal with it.
That is true what you're saying, but it's more than it is. This is going to cause suffering for all races, all people. You should be. You should. I don't know if you should care, but you should be, because caring is you're getting emotional about it. But I think that I'm talking to Bluey Bro, whatever. I think that you should be. You should value right versus wrong, and it's wrong what's happening to whites, and what whites are in some cases whites are doing it to themselves. It's wrong, and you should be standing for what's right. And
I think.
Go for it.
I keep interrupting.
No, go for it.
Okay, I think one could easily make the case that everybody should care, because, quite frankly, the world will be a much worse place without white people.
Right.
There's no doubt. If you want proof, go to any non-white nation on planet Earth, and you'll probably see it. Anybody with common sense will realize that.
Yeah.
I also think another reason of white decline is predation. The further a minority we become in our own homelands, these are our lands, not theirs, the more of a minority we become, the worse off we are treated.
South Africa.
We see a pattern. Look at the rape, murder, assault statistics. It's overwhelmingly blacks assaulting whites, overwhelmingly Hispanics assaulting whites, not the other way around.
Right.
Asians and whites kind of
In terms of
we're
interracial
chill.
crime.
We just want to. Yeah, interracial crime, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not even that. I mean, crime within one's race, they still beat us. They beat us on all fronts.
Yeah, that's
For
true.
violence. Yeah.
Yep, totally.
So,
Yeah, man.
yeah. So I guess I'll just end it there. And good show. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, appreciate it, Christopher. Take care, man.
All right.
So, by the way, speaking of injustice, right? I mentioned how most of the media is liberal. Oh, let me read a few super chats. Hold on, because I don't want to get too far behind. Hot computer smell, thank you. Pin Bob Sponge, keep speaking the truth. Thanks, man. Marcus Jones sucks. We need Joel and Nick to do a rap battle. Stream it. Oh, you know what? We were talking about altruistic white people. Nick, the people pleaser. Anyways, whatever. Mari Uvaldo. Giovanni A. I don't know why I fear more of that illegal alien disease than the coronavirus. Amazing. Si, senor, senor, si. Marcus Jones sucks. Says, farming is the best career for rounding knowledge. Interesting. And then, of course, Blazing Hogs gave a super chat. Appreciated Blazing Hogs. And I'm sorry if I'm missing diamonds. Dang. Catch the thought. Kevin, I'm forgetting what Kevin's name is. Kevin Webb, TNT 88. Thank you guys. Gorgonzola, Portman, Floshinsky, Shaggy Boy, and Reed Johnson. Thank you guys. Man. So, Jim Jordan, Representative Jim Jordan, the short guy, he's a wrestler, by the way, or used to be a wrestler. And Trump made fun of how this guy, Jim Jordan, Representative Jim Jordan, Google his picture when you get a chance, Joel. Jim Jordan, representative from, I forget where, but he and Mike Cernovich, a journalist guy, he's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show and the Fallen State, pointed out that the FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act process allowed the FBI, liberals, and the DOJ, liberals, to be corrupt and lie. There's Jim Jordan, Representative Jim Jordan. And lie in order to be able to spy on the Trump campaign. And by the way, Trump was right when he said, I think before he even took office, or maybe he had just taken office back in 2017, late 2016, early 2017, that when he tweeted out, without evidence, without citing any evidence, as the media said, without needing to cite evidence because he knew it was true, that Obama wiretapped, is his words, I think, as I recall, Trump Tower. Obama spied and the media lied, and the media covered for him. I'm shiny. And of course, they want the FISA courts, FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think you guys may know more than me about this. But this FISA stuff, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, means that you can surveil foreign entities when they talk with Americans. And so they used this against a man named Carter Page, who was in the Trump campaign. Carter Page. He was an advisor guy, foreign policy advisor guy, and they spied on him. Am I streaming on Facebook? Let's see. It looks like I am. It's hard to tell. Oh yeah, there I am. So they spied on them under false pretenses. They made stuff up. They lied. The FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, seems like one of our institutions that we respect, right? Unless you're black, then you don't like them because they give out negative crime statistics about blacks, stuff that we already know. And Carter Page may not even have officially, well, maybe he was, been an advisor, but it was an excuse to spy on the Trump campaign. And, they made up this fake Russia stuff. And Hillary cited it, saying 17 of our intelligence agencies. Why do we have 17? Said that Russia was colluding or something like that, helping Trump. Well, can you blame him? Hillary would start World War III real fast. Even an evil person has to be somewhat sane to want Trump as opposed to Hillary, because Hillary was a mess. She caused major problems. And yeah. And so Jim Jordan says we need to put a stop on this, create reforms, because the judge, the FISA court judge, it's a secret court, right? It's a secret court that allows the government to spy on American citizens. And the pretense is you're spying on foreign agencies, but really you're spying on Americans. And so Trump was right. The Obama administration, wiretapped Trump Tower or spied, and the media lied. And they just glossed over the fact that Trump was right yet again. But they need to, I don't know, it's interesting how corrupt the government is. And Trump brings it out of him too, because he's like, it's like he's holding out his leg. He's like, come on, guys. And then they go for the leg, and then they out themselves. They do something wild, and then he wins in the end. Like when you're in a fight, you hold out your leg for them to grab it, and then they grab your leg, and then you just wrap them up. You tie them in a knot. It seems like what he does every time. But the FBI, the DOJ, you look at the way that these people donated. I saw this in the Hill after 2016. Most of them, 80, 90% or more of the donations from government employees were to the Hillary campaign as opposed to the Trump campaign. 80 to 90%, in some cases over 90%, including in the Department of Defense, which is supposed to be like caring about the country, nationalistic, conservative, sane, manly. Nope. And you've seen a bunch of the former generals and people that have worked for Trump turn on him. Kelly, talking, what's his name? Kelly? He was like chief of staff or something. A general. I think he was a general. And he said that, no, all migrants aren't rapists or something dumb like that. He was just making a scarecrow argument against his own boss after leaving. What a snake. So these men that we're thinking of as such manly men, they end up being little punks. So I just wanted to share that with you. And by the way, speaking of snakes, there's a Republican mayor who switched to Joe Biden. I got this from Drudge, according to, it's a Mediaite story. A Michigan mayor, longtime Republican, supposedly white man. Tyler was is his first name or last name? Chicago Tribune has released a profile on Michael Tyler. This is from Mediaite. Mayor of Sterling Heights, Michigan, which is situated in the middle of Macomb County, where many Midwesterners supported Trump in 2016 after voting for Barack Obama. But he's a Republican, and he's decided to renounce President Trump in favor of former vice president under Obama, Joe Biden. What a sleaze. Oh, I got to show you guys a picture of this guy. Let me see if I can connect to Joel's thing. Because he looks like, a handsome white man, but then you look at him, you look at what he did and what he said. Total snake. Here, Joel, in a sec. Boom. This guy, and he established himself as a prominent Tea Party person. And the Tea Party, if you guys don't remember, some of you are young or not paying attention or didn't care, the Tea Party was 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012 or so, the Tea Party, 2013, and even since then, some of them have continued. This is a picture of Michael Taylor, Sterling Heights, Michigan mayor. He acted like he's a Tea Party figure, right? And that was a revolt against Obama and the government in general, spending like crazy. They weren't happy mostly with George W. Bush either, but Obama was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, he does look a little bit like Richard Spencer. You talk about Richard Spencer? Oh, man. So, anti-Obama Tea Party guy, suddenly he's for the white man, Joe Biden. What a snake, huh? He says, quote, I think Joe Biden is the candidate who can unify all of the Democrats, and he's the candidate who can appeal to moderates and Republicans like me, who don't want to see 4 more years of President Trump, Taylor said. Looking back on voting for Trump in 2016, supposedly, Michael Taylor called the election a referendum on Washington politicians and others who don't seem to care about the issues Midwesterners are concerned about. This guy hiding behind the Midwesterners mess. He said Biden could win over his blue-collar constituents if he explains how his policies would be beneficial to them. I loved how that guy confronted Joe Biden in the factory, that worker. I think he was a union worker. I don't know. It was a factory in process. I remember thinking this Trump thing is insane, but when it was down to him and Hillary, I kind of said, well, you're a Republican, and yeah, he's nuts, but maybe he'll get better, and you know he's going to lower taxes. I slowly talked myself into it. He can't be seriously this deranged. He called him deranged once he gets in there. And he's even more deranged now than I thought then. So I take the blame. I voted for him. Weak. But, you know, snakes. That's why I said that you can't trust, I guess you can't even trust most Republicans. It's like all Democrats are evil, unless they're soon to be coming Republican. And most of the Republicans are evil. 99.999.9. I'm copying Jesse there if you didn't catch on to that. Percent, but not all, of Democrats are evil. I mean, Republicans are evil. There you go, Marcus Jones. By the way, and then I will get to calls. Appreciate you guys calling. I was telling you guys about this attack that you saw on the Jesse Lee Peterson show of a bunch of black young guys, young men, or juveniles, teens, jumping a girl, a minor, a female minor, I think. I think it was in New York. A mob attack. Do you have the clip?
I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, grab that clip and grab the Joe Biden clip, because if I have time, I'll play them. And then I will get to Hector and all the callers. But I mentioned that, right, in passing. And I wanted to cover it, but I haven't covered it. Well, Marcus Jones, a faithful fan of the Hake Report and the Jesse Lee Peterson show, he likes to make fun of me. It's cool. Said that there were 5 white men, I think he said whites, who beat someone within an inch of that person's life. But you won't hear it on the Hake show or on the news, I guess, because I think he thinks the news is biased in favor of whites or something. I don't know. You can't believe that, Marcus Jones. The media is very anti-white, especially the white media, or including the so-called white media. But I don't know about that story. Send it to me, Marcus Jones. But I wouldn't be surprised. There is a growing degeneracy, and there's always been evil amongst all races. But it's just kind of ridiculous because you think about the crime rates. Jesse Lee Peterson is called to the blacks first and then the rest of the world too. And he helps all races. It's kind of like how Paul, the Apostle Paul in the Bible, said that he was called first to the, or maybe Jesus said this too, first to the Jews and then to the Gentiles. And it's definitely the real Christianity, not the fake Christianity, has been a benefit. The fake Christianity has been it's been a mixed bag. Because on one hand, it keeps you following the rules a little bit, but on the other hand, it's just weakness, and it allows for more and more degeneration of society. What a mess. But it's kind of ridiculous because you can find whites doing wrong and committing violent crime, but when you look at the statistics, I'll show you the statistics sometime, including of juveniles, the arrest rates, the criminal victimization surveys, and just like common experience. Common experience basically tells you that blacks got a bigger violence problem per capita. Anyways, let me get to Hector out of North Dakota, first-time caller. Hector, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, Hake, how you doing, man? Love your show, brother. Love your show, and love Jesse's show too. It's fantastic, you guys. I listen to you guys.
Thank you.
Every time I can.
Right on.
I had a comment. I kind of side with E. Michael Jones on this one, where pretty much one of the biggest, you could say, cons against what you call white people is that you guys all get bunched up in one group. For example, I heard about a case of an Irish man that came to that visited Detroit and was not exactly sure. He was a victim of it. I think he died. They killed him because he was white. You know, he happened to be walking in the wrong neighborhood. And here, he's white, but he is Irish in Ireland.
Yeah.
And so when you blanket everybody like that, you blanket everybody. It kind of works against you, you know. Like Polish people are Polish, but they come here and now they're white. And so
Right.
it's a blanket that it works against you, you know. I almost think it's by design. It works against you by design. You know, they want to put you all in a bunch. Like, for example, me, they call me the whitest Mexican.
Right.
If you were to see me on the street, I'm white.
Yeah.
But, you know, I even in high school, when I went to high school in Proviso East, long time ago, many years ago. And it was Martin Luther King's birthday, and I got jumped because they thought I was white.
Oh, man.
So
On
it's
MLK
kinda
Day,
weird.
in celebration of MLK.
Yes.
White
So it was
children and
pretty
black
weird.
children holding hands.
Yes, they jumped me. But, I mean, it was an all-black school, Crook County. You know, what do we expect?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and at that time, I mean, they just pretty much threw it under the rug. They didn't even do anything to the guys. Everybody got away with it.
Right.
And so I was like, wow, that's when I started kind of looking into it. It's like, why? I mean, why would they think I was white? I mean, I'm Mexican. I mean, I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, just because I was wearing a leather jacket and, you know, wearing combat boots at the time and, you know, looked white, they thought I was white and I got jumped. So that's why I'm saying it's like it kind of works against you. They blanket everyone with that when you start saying white. And I think that's where it gets lost in translation, where some people, you know, they lose their culture when they get here, you know, and you get thrown a big blanket on you. Oh, no, you're just white.
Right.
So I mean, you know, I think it kind of works against you guys. And I say you guys because it's kind of like a losing battle sometimes, you know, like it's pretty much everybody that has pale skin. It's like, you know, you're evil. I see it everywhere, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's really right versus wrong. And
yeah, exactly.
You're right in that there are wildly different cultures among the whites. Like, I joke around and say, sometimes I may not be joking, that the Irish, the Italians, the white Hispanics, they don't count as white.
Exactly.
And the white and the light-skinned Jews, they don't count as white because they have a totally different culture from the white conservative Christians or Protestant Christians.
But do you understand how it's a blanket? Do you understand how everybody's like, look at me, I was Mexican, and all of a sudden I'm white.
Yeah.
It's like a big blanket they put on you. But that's kind of one of the things you guys got going against you. And pretty much everyone, you know, because me, as being Mexican, I got jumped. It worked against me too, you know.
But in all honesty, like, we need people to. I understand the draw of people wanting a white ethno-state.
Yeah.
Like one of the callers before you is a white ethno-nationalist. He wants a white, at least a white majority country, if not whites only. And I understand that, but you have to be for right versus wrong above all things. And
yeah, because, you know, what if, like, like, for example, you say a white ethno state. If there's no right and wrong in that, then
right.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Exactly.
You know,
and then even
Man,
even like Jesus in the Bible,
hmm
he rejected even his immediate family, at least seemingly,
Exactly.
because his mother and
seemingly.
brothers were there, blood mother and blood supposed brothers, and he's all, who are my mother and sister and brothers, but those who do the will of God. And that's true. And I'm not talking about people who just call themselves Christians, because there's a whole bunch of liberal traitors to America and traitors to Christianity who call themselves
and go
Christians.
to church too. And they go to church too, by the way.
So,
Man,
but he, and people say, oh, my race is my extended family. And I guess in a sense you could say that, and race is reality. It does matter, at least in this life, in a sense, but it doesn't matter in the way that most people think that it matters.
I don't know, Hank. I live in an all-white neighborhood. I'm in North Dakota. I mean, I'm sorry. You know, if I see a Mexican move in, I don't care what they say. I'm like, hey, baby, I think it's time to move out. This place is going to shit. I'm sorry. Did I swear? I'm sorry. I'm in D-Live. I watch you on D-Live, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, right on, man.
I don't know.
Appreciate you joining. Thanks, man.
Yes. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your effort, man. Thank all your crew. You guys are awesome. I listen to you guys all the time, and we'll keep drilling Mother Earth out here in North Dakota. Get you guys some fuel.
Cool. Keep fracking, or whatever it is.
All right, we will. Yeah, we are.
All
Thanks,
right,
man.
take
Bye-bye.
care, Hector. I got to open the treasure chest, but I got to add a little bit to it first. So you can open the treasure chest to us. Nice. Per capita is intensely racist, says Reed Johnson. Yeah, people don't even comprehend, or they act like they don't comprehend per capita. That means per head, or per 100 people, or whatever. So we're opening the treasure chest on dlive.tv/the Hake Report. Because when you talk about, I think, because if you look at the statistics, white people kill more people than black people, or it might be neck and neck, I'm not sure, but they don't realize that there's 5 times as many whites as there are blacks. Maybe less now, but so there's that's 5 times as many possible suspects. So anyways, whatever. Luckiest followers from the Obama chest redistribution of lemons on DLive: Reed Johnson, Floshinsky, Red Man Mad, Garand Bear, and Shaunaverse. And so thank you guys. I'm sorry if I missed any diamonds. Hopefully Dark Side of the Bear What was in there taking screenshots for me as she normally does. But if not, then hopefully somebody else will take over. The Hake Report at gmail.com and or james@jesseleepeterson.com, so I don't miss your treasure chest. Thank you guys for the lemons and ice cream, diamonds, ninjaginis, ninjets, all those things. Appreciate that. So, by the way, Blazing Hogs says, thank God I'm a country boy. Thank you, Blazing Hogs. And Pin Bob Sponge says, thank you for standing for good, brother. Thank you. Again. That's cool. So, you can't trust most Republicans either, or even most whites or anything. But those poor Greeks trying to protect their country after going bankrupt. Greece went bankrupt. Greece went bankrupt by back in like 2012. Greece, the country. And Greece used to be on top of the world. It was Greece and then Rome took over. And now, where's Greece now? Where's Rome now? Rome is empty because of the coronavirus. There is even a person at the Vatican who got this coronavirus thing. And I've heard that it is a serious disease, not to scare you, but just reality, I think. According to Stefan Molyneux, who's a reporter, journalist, commentator, philosopher guy whose word I take a little bit of heed to, he said that it's 30 times more deadly than the flu, this coronavirus thing. So don't catch it if you can help it, unless you're getting paid. I heard, according to New York Post or something like that, that you can get paid for it. So, Marcus Jones, don't fall for that. Whites do it too. But I do like that Trump is handling this coronavirus thing like a man. It's nice. I saw this Drudge headline that is disgusting. In San Francisco, a homeless man sat with a decaying raccoon inside a McDonald's. That's where liberalism will get you, to be honest. The man filming was so funny in that case. Oh, I hope you guys get to play it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Anyways, guys, I will see you soon. Today is Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to Jesse Lee Peterson's Patreon. We are going to be uploading exclusive content and early access content as well. Patreon.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. You know, I've been working on these 90s shows and other things. So go over there and support. I definitely recommend it. Thank you guys too. And did I miss anything? Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you later. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JLPTalk.com for Jesse Lee Peterson stuff. Take care.